That's Plagueis. Ooh. That's Plagueis.
No shot.
That is... Yo! Yo! Dang. Wow.
Dude, that better not be all they show them.
That's actually sick.
Unreal.
Boom, you looking for this?
Welcome back to BoomShot. I'm Kel, this is Colby, and this is Micah back with us for the last episode of the Acolyte. I can't believe episode 8, it's already over.
It's over, man.
Yeah, this episode had some crazy twists in it, as you probably saw in the opening reaction. So let's go ahead and talk about that starting now. All right. Usually we start off with what you think about the episode, but I think we have to skip the question.
Broken?
Dude. Yeah, this is a Nexus event.
It's a Nexus event.
What, dude? Darth Plagueis.
The Wise Man.
Yeah.
That was pretty hype. I gotta say that was pretty hype. I liked the reveal.
Yeah, I think it was who. You were the one who called it, right?
Yeah,
Let's revisit that.
It was kind of the process of elimination, because I was kind of leaning Tenebrous, I think, but you went Osha was the second Sith, because that was confirmed before.
Which technically was a good prediction. She's not Sith yet, but she's
that was definitely the safest option.
And then you went Tenebrous, and I was like, I'll go Plaguey.
Yeah.
And there he is, man. He shows up.
Dude.
It was kind of weird the way he showed up, though. Like, I'm glad he did, but like,
that was wild, dude.
Not necessarily that, but just the fact that he showed up like 8 minutes within the episode, and then you don't hear a peep about it after that. That's kind of my only gripe against it.
Maybe that was kind of, I'm just now thinking about this, maybe that was kind of their way of showing like he's been there all along, and he's kind of been pulling the strings, but we didn't ever see it.
Yeah.
Did Chimera know he's there? I don't think Chimera knows he's there.
No,
That's a big point of contention. I don't think so either, because I feel like Plagueis had to be the one that got in Ocean's mind at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I actually think that Plagueis sees Chimera as a rival. I really don't think that, because there's no way that Chimera wouldn't know he's there.
So he sees Chimera as a rival and is kind of stalking him, you think?
Yes,
and
like,
Chimera doesn't know he exists?
Yeah. And maybe he wants Osha
really?
as the Acolyte.
So
kind of like what you're saying.
You don't think he trained Chimera?
I don't know that I'm of that opinion, dude.
I
think Chimera has enough. Like, you have to think, Vernestra Woe or whatever her name is. Her last name is RWOH.
It's Roe.
Right, I know. It's just weird to say because I want to pronounce that's not the point.
Yeah.
She's pretty powerful. I think most of the stuff that he could have learned from her, like the base light side of things, and then like.
All right, but
the extension from that to dark side is not that far.
But he killed, what was it, 8 Jedi?
I still don't think it's that. I feel like Vernestra Rowe, if she wanted to, could probably kill 8 Jedi. I feel like she's probably that powerful.
I don't know if she would go toe to toe with Soul though.
I think
she could.
I think he trained him, okay? But I think now he wants Osha as his apprentice.
There's no way, but Chimera has to know that. Like,
but we talked about this before we got on camera. Was that Chimera in the previous episodes felt like he was in the driver's seat the whole time. This episode he didn't. Yeah. To me, at least.
Yeah, that is true.
I do. I mean, okay. So, do you think Tenebrous is alive at this point?
Mm-mm.
No, I think
Plagueis has already killed him. I think Plagueis is going after rivals. He's trying to set up his own order.
Because there was a point at one time we thought that maybe he was like training up Chimera to the two of them could kill Tenebrous.
Yeah.
But now that Osha's in the picture, there would be so many dark side users.
Yeah,
I just feel like it's weird that Plagueis is stalking Chimera. I feel like that's weird.
I don't think he's stalking him. I think
he
kind
is
of overwatching what's going on, and Chimera
but I think he's stalking
him.
Because Chimera doesn't know he's there. Like, I think he's like spying on him.
It did kind of seem like Chimera didn't know he existed. He was either scared at the very beginning when Osha got controlled, or he was just like, what just happened?
Mm-hmm. And he had to tap into some of the witch magic, I think, to get her out of it.
Yeah.
I think, because you saw just like their eyes went black, like his eyes went black trying to like rip her out of that.
I mean, we don't necessarily know that was Plagueis though, right? I mean, I guess it could have been, but
it could have been something to do with where they were in the helmet and stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows? But you have to think like the helmet blocks everything else out, like it's a sensory thing, so that way like she's more in tune with the Force, which probably means it was easier for him to tap into that.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they showed him so early in the episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that was pretty much right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he showed up so early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's obviously the big reveal, and then obviously we see Yoda at the very end of the episode, which is pretty cool. I think.
It was cool to see. I mean, because we always knew he was there. Like Plagueis, we were kind of speculating, like, is he here? at all. But Yoda, we knew he was there, so it was cool to see him.
I think what they could have done with the Plagueis reveal, like obviously you'd have to change the way the story structured a little bit, but I think they could have done like a Plagueis reveal and Yoda reveal, like because they're kind of antithesis to each other. That would have been pretty sick. Like Plagueis is the Dark Lord of the Sith, and Yoda is unconfirmed the Grandmaster, but probably the Grandmaster at this point. So I really would have. I don't know. I feel like that'd be cool, but. I know this would break canon, but I feel like I just need to see Yoda fight Plagueis. Like I just feel like I have to see it. I don't care if it breaks canon.
Just do a what if episode.
That's the only downside of the Sith being introduced in this era is that like they technically, I mean, I guess
cannot
they can
exist.
fight, but they have to kill him. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Vernestra, she covered up. She covered up.
Yeah, so she's kind of in on it,
which we were right about. We called it. She was Major Sus 2 episodes ago, I think it was episode 6. And, she pinned it all on Soul.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, like, rather than start, like, just as long as she knows, it sounds like she's still searching for them. So she wants to make it right. But as far as getting the Senate off of her back and the rest of the Jedi Order, it makes sense for her to cover it up. But that also makes sense as to why the rest of the Jedi High Council never knew about it. Well, do you think she lies to Yoda? Or do you think she tells him the truth? That's a real question right there. Because Yoda was the chief of lies, if you really think about it.
She just lied to the Chancellor, so.
Yeah, but I mean, like the Senate really didn't have much oversight of the Jedi at this point.
I don't think Yoda will know about it.
No,
that better be where it picks up next. Well, I think it has to pick up right there.
And
Yoda's like,
and if she told him, like that would kind of break. Canon.
But then I think that makes it better because then Yoda was in on it. Like it did just.
No, it definitely. This show definitely goes to show how dumb and naive the Jedi were.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It feels kind of subversive in a sense. I don't know where I was reading this the other day, but like, actually, I was watching a Jeremy Johns video, I think. But like, it feels so subversive to the point it's like you don't really know who to. It's kind of like Breaking Bad in a sense, where no character is good and you really don't know who to root for.
I felt very conflicted. Like I was rooting for Soul. Shout out to Soul.
Yeah, Soul Patrol, dude. I'm kind of mad about the way he died. That's not the point. Anyway,
I was rooting for him throughout the whole show, even though we knew he had like some flaws. But now there's really like no clear protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a protagonist. I mean, good guy, I guess.
But I feel like that's been a problem. That was a problem with all the prequel stuff because really, like, obviously you had your bad guy, which was Palpatine and Darth, like, and Anakin toward episode 3. But like, the Jedi were kind of scumbags anyway. So like, you really didn't care to root for them because they did it to themselves.
Well, but I mean, you still kind of rooted for them. The story was told more from their perspective in that. This was definitely told from Osha's perspective, who ended up turning bad. So, which in turn,
yeah, I just don't know. Like, it feels so subversive to the point where it's like I just don't even know who to root for at this point. Like, they're like at the end of the day, no characters without not without a flaw because flaws are different. Like, I feel like Saul had a good heart with flaws.
Yeah,
I feel like the rest of them are kind of just like they're all selfish. I feel like that's the way that I see it.
Yeah, well, Saul was too, but. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but he was selfish for like a different. Like he was selfish for Osha's sake. Like he was. I mean, he felt bad about his mistake, but it was like the reason he told him was for them. Like, I don't know. I feel like Soul Patrol. He's the real martyr here. That's what I'm.
I feel like they may have to introduce somebody who is good, even if they're not the protagonist next season. Like Hank.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have someone
you gotta have a North Star.
He wasn't the main character, but Hank was. He's the North Star, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Which would be actually very interesting if they brought in like a different Jedi main character that like is on the task force with Vernestra trying to track down Chimere. And
it's like something's not right here.
Yeah, and he's like low-key spying on Vernestra as they're both spying on like Chimere. Like that would be sick.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to another point where it's like he figures out, and then Vernestra's like, "What do I have to do to keep the lid on the bottle?"
Yeah, that's true.
I think that'd be really interesting. But I don't know. I feel like it just makes you hate the Jedi more. So by the time you get to the the prequels, you're gonna be like, "Dude, the Jedi were so bad."
I will say this show made the Jedi seem much worse than the prequels did, in my opinion, than the prequels ever did.
It just gives you nobody to root for. That's the only problem.
Well, I mean, I was rooting for Plaguey.
I mean, That makes sense.
Yeah,
But I'm talking
Chimera,
about-
dude.
Yeah,
Plague and
Chimera, dude. Yeah.
It's like that one episode of Clone Wars where Palpatine fights Maul.
Dude,
I was
one of the best episodes.
after
series.
Maul killed Satine, I was like, all right, Palps, let's do this. I was like, let's do this, man.
That was a great episode.
But that's actually what I was really hoping would happen. I was hoping basically like Chimera would be fighting all the Jedi, like, and Saul would still be alive, and May and Osha would still be alive, and then Plagueis just comes in and cleans house, just like, let's do this one last time.
Yeah.
Starts with a fresh slate.
See, I had a feeling that Soul was gonna die this episode, and I feel like it was kind of in a way that I thought was gonna happen.
Oh yeah, you called that. Osha turning bad.
Yeah, and she was the one to kill him, and it was kind of interesting how they did that, because like he was getting force choked, but he didn't really know where it was coming from, and then she bleeds a crystal and all that, so it was interesting.
I just don't like the way Soul died, man.
That was one of my biggest gripes of the episode. Like, it was cool to see a crystal bled on TV. You know, like, we haven't seen that before. But, I mean, just going from the first episode where she couldn't even force pull Pip to her on the ship to that, it's just kind of crazy.
I feel like the Soul death would have worked better if they would have emphasized. You point this out off camera, but if they had emphasized the whole basically letting himself die more, like toward the end there, he was like, it's okay, like, but I just don't know, man. Something doesn't. I feel like he had to die by the hands of like Plagueis, because he just cooks, bro.
I feel like he didn't get to explain himself. Like he didn't ever really say like I didn't mean to kill her. It was like like he just said, I think it was for the best, but like I wish he would have explained his motives more.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think that paints a good picture of Osha turning bad. Like, she didn't even give him a chance. Like, she just let her anger and emotion take over.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know.
Which is true Sith fashion, you know?
Yeah, and that would explain to why she got a little bit stronger when she uses her hatred. Mm-hmm. But she did, I mean, like he said at the beginning, she, didn't have much force power, which I guess she wasn't in tune at that time. But
yeah, she didn't have much mastery.
I mean, other than that, did she even use the Force after that?
No,
she didn't.
Not really.
I don't think Force choking is that hard to do. You just,
Yeah, because like Soul could have definitely prevented it. Like if that was the case, Chimera would have just force choked him a long time ago.
Yeah.
So he was definitely resigned to die.
Yeah, I kind of just wish they would have made that. Which, the only one who didn't, like, I guess all four of them that were on Brindok minus Kelnaka kind of like resigned themselves to die in a sense.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
Kelnaka was killed.
That's a good point.
But every other one of them decided to let themselves die pretty much.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think, and then there's another big reveal, which is basically like, I don't know how we've gone this long without talking about it, but the fact that Osha and May were created by the Force, like created with the Force, not by the Force. There's a difference with the Force.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
some type of manipulation.
I would
through the power of the Virgins.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if we were gonna talk about that because I figured there's gonna be a lot of people upset about it. But one thing I noticed when Soul brought that up to May in the courtyard in the middle of his fight with Chimera kind of looked up like, oh, holy crap, he knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
That's true.
Leads me to believe, I think Plagueis was the one actually responsible for creating them, which would make sense.
It's a trial run.
About the story of Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, which would make sense about Darth Plagueis and Palpatine creating life through the Force, and then the Force responds by creating Anakin. So it was a trial run, basically, and it technically failed.
Mm-hmm. It's just weird how they created two people for like one light and one dark, pretty much. I think that's the kind of, I mean, that's the parallel that was presented to us anyway by the clothing they were wearing. Like, one's light side and one's dark side.
I guess that's just kind of an embodiment of the Force too, kind of like Mortis though. Like,
And then you notice under the tree, toward the end of the episode when they were doing the rhyme.
Yeah, it looked like Chimera kind of gave a look because they were like, that was definitely intentional when they were like, where did we learn this anyways? And I feel like Chimera kind of like gave them a look like he did in the courtyard. So something's going on there. I feel like they manipulated them and then also like made them come up with that rhyme so that way they would be more in tune with the Force.
Yeah.
Did they ever explain how May found Chimera?
No.
That would make a lot of sense then. They could probably track him down. That, like, Chimera probably tracked her down.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that maybe he wasn't involved in their creation, but Plagueis definitely was, in my mind.
Like, we don't know how she got off the planet. We don't know, like, anything like that. Yeah. But was it presented to us early? Like, I don't know. It feels like May wasn't his acolyte for a long time.
Mm-hmm. The only hint we got is that he said May didn't take a second thought. She said yes.
She accepted it immediately.
So that's kind of the only hint we got to when they first met.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sure Chimera, I mean, that would have been, 8 years ago or something like that by that point. So I'm sure Chimera would have been, he might have still been in the Jedi. Maybe he saw Osha running around and, like, was like, holy crap. Maybe that's the person.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they had been spying on. I don't know. They could have been there the whole time.
Yeah. I feel like we'll definitely see more of his backstory within the Order, whatever. She said that was her pupil, but. And he said he was a Jedi a long time ago, right? In that episode, so.
Yeah, and then he also acted like he recognized Soul on Kofar.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that was kind of confirmed this episode that he was Vernestra's Padawan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, there's a lot of interesting stuff that happened overall. Like, I feel like the last half of it could have been. I think it's just because they showed Plagueis, and I really wanted to see him clean house. Like,
that's exactly what I said. Yeah.
But I also wanted to see, like, I get them saving the whole Renestra and Chimera meet up for next season. Like, I get that. But dude, whenever she's like, he's here. Like, well, I was expecting some kind of throwdown. Like,
yeah, they had to tie up those loose ends toward the end of the episode. That was my only thing. Like, I thought the episode overall was really good. That was my only thing, though. I wish they'd have saved Plagueis toward the end. Because then they show him that early, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he's about to... We're about to see Plagueis full force.
I guess another thing, though, is that the only lightsaber fight was with Soul and Chimera. Mm-hmm. And that kind of gave Soul kind of a spotlight on his way out.
Yeah.
I guess you can kind of look at it that way.
Yeah. Dude, bring Soul back, man. Force heal.
He'll be a Force ghost.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. Within the first... I mean, after watching this series, like... Or this show, I guess, this season... Dude, Saul might be one of my top 5 Jedi, honestly. I do like him a lot.
We should do a Jedi tier list.
Yeah, I like Saul a lot. I mean, actually, we have a lot more Jedi to add to it. Because
sorry, I'm just going back to when I said he might be a Force Ghost next season. Would they able to have learned that yet?
No, because
that was later.
Qui-Gon was the first, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Never mind.
I feel like if anybody knew about it, it's probably Saul. So.
Soul Patrol, baby.
Soul Patrol. Actually, Kilnock is probably the one who knew about it. At this, Any recluse who goes to a random planet by themselves probably knows about.
Yeah, they figured something out at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, as a whole, where you ranking this show on Star Wars shows, live action? Obviously, you got
like out of 10 or like ABC.
I think like in out of the live action shows that have come out so far, where is it at on your list?
Just like I would say like a B tier.
I was talking to a friend after last week's episode about this, and I out of all the live action Disney Star Wars shows, I'd probably put it in the middle.
Yeah.
Not too high, not too low.
I don't even know if I'd put it.
Well, I mean, like
no. I'd put it higher. I think it's better.
But what do you think it's higher than?
Boba. I think it's higher than Mando season 3. I think it's
okay, but you got to take the entirety of the show.
Probably Mando season 1.
We could get into a tier list. We could do another bid.
I think it's top 3.
Well, I mean, okay, so it's better than Kenobi, better than Book of Boba Fett, and we're getting off topic.
We can make another vid where we each have our own tier list, like we do at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, I don't know. To me, this era of Star Wars, it just goes back to the era that I actually enjoy. So, like,
it's definitely very interesting.
Yeah.
No, it was a good show. Like, I'm not knocking it at all.
Yeah, there's a lot to explore there, and it also felt. How do you say this? It feels bland, as most Star Wars shows feel. Like Andor was different because it had engaging grinding, but like this show actually tried to tell a different story. I actually appreciate that, even if at times it was like, okay, that seemed a little bit too convenient, or like this is a gigantic plot hole. Like whatever it is, like at least they tried to tell a different story. I'll give them that.
Yeah,
but. I don't know. We can make that video another day. But let us know what you guys think. Did you like this show? Did you like the way that this season ended? What do you think about Darth Plagueis? What do you think about Yoda? What do you think about a lot of stuff that happened? Because there's a lot that happened. But let us know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.